Americans, it's a problem within the Arab American community, is we are wonderfully generous when it comes to our charitable causes, our mosques, our churches. But what we have not learned to do yet, and we're at danger of losing influence if we don't do this, is that we need to open up our checkbooks. We need to start making donations to the organizations, whatever causes those organizations support. It's just not part of our culture. And I know I'm quite frustrated because I do a lot of fundraising in the Arab American community for political causes. And man, it's like pulling a wisdom tooth out of people's mouths to get a check from them. And then they ask why we aren't so influential in Washington. Well, money still talks in politics, and you need to give. And it's extraordinarily powerful when you do that.
5 more minutes.
Sure. So on the money factor, let's stop fighting for money. Let's start cooperating, and let's start being a little bit more generous. I think, Doctor, you had mentioned, maybe you would mention, the majority of Egyptian Americans are probably in the 60th percentile and above of income earners in this country. We are professionals, doctors, lawyers, professors, engineers. There is no shortage of personal financial wealth. We just need to get a little bit more comfortable with financial donations for causes. And finally, I'll just end by saying, why is it that we should do this? Why is it that we really need to create this coalition or umbrella organization? Because we owe it. We owe it to the people of Egypt. All of us, I think, were enamored, if not fixated, and then proud of what the people of Egypt accomplished on January 25th. It is something that will go down in history, I think, as one of the most extraordinary people's revolutions. And we, as Egyptian Americans, have a unique obligation to those Egyptians in Egypt. Why? Because we live in the country that is the only superpower left on this earth. And that, like it or not, America dictates what goes on in the world. And that means the relationship between the United States and Egypt will continue to be strong and continue to be influential. And we, as Egyptian Americans, can be in the forefront of that, shaping that relationship, which is so very important. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Randa. And now I will give, of course, no.
Our neighbors in the north.
I just want to say that we were expecting those two speakers. We didn't get it. I'll, with your permission, I'll use just 1 minute and then I'll open for discussion because neither one of the speakers really talked about the two questions I have been toying with, and I asked, what is a community and what is life? I like to use the word strong. I think our mission should be strong community. What's the strong? Strong community basically will be an effective community. Effective in whatever we are going to do. We will make a dent whether we are talking to the American government or we are talking to the Egyptian government. We are going to be effective in getting people together. We are going to be effective in helping everyone in need, especially among the Egyptian-American community and in Egypt. That will make a viable community. Strong in every aspect. Strong in its intellectual power, strong in its organization, strong in its duration for a long time. We have seen a lot of efforts going up and down, fizzling away. We hope that this will be sustained community. And I'm glad that Mohamed Kamel said that we are talking about future generations, what you do for your brothers, your children, your sons and daughters. That's at least my definition of what is strong to be effective, to be viable. Community is a harder one, and having for 30 years, of course, being a student and a professor of urban planning, I can say that that is a very important issue among planners. What is a community? And I'll be very brief, and then we'll open the discussion. First, this community should be aware of itself, self-cognition, conscience of its kind. So Egyptians will know who they are. What is Egypt? What is the history of Egypt? What's the culture of Egypt? What are the characteristics of Egyptians? And I'm talking about your sons and your daughters and your even grandchildren. Without that, there will be no community because they are not aware of themselves or their uniqueness. And why we say Egypt is a very special country. Why is special? Why it's different from Burkina Faso or Mali? The second, of course, is that in this community, there should be division of labor. God gives people different gifts. Someone is a good thinker, someone is a good worker, someone is a good articulator, good writer, musician, and so on. This diversity is available, but we are not aware of it and we don't celebrate it. So we really should have division of labor demonstrated in this organization. And a community, a good community also, should be able to maximize the survival, and actually the thriving of every individual. So whoever, if you are a businessman, this community should be helping you to be a good businessman, whatever, if you want to do it here or there. If you are an academician or a professional or whatever, this community should be able to, by its presence and its strength, we call it a strong community, should celebrate, accommodate this. A community should have also some kind of loyalty. Just like in your neighborhood, you are loyal to your neighborhood, you are trying to make it clean, secure, and you go to the homeowners association meetings or the city hall meetings because you are loyal to your neighborhood. Are the Egyptian Americans loyal to their community because there has not been a community yet developed and so on. And of course, to have interaction, and that has been discussed by Mohamed Kamel and Randa. With that, I'll open the discussion since we are talking about a viable Egyptian-American community, and we will give the first 10 minutes to the questions first. I see here Mr. Abdulwahab. Please identify yourself so people will know you, and also say which one of the two speakers you want to address the question to, so they will know.
Assalamu alaikum. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Mohamed for coming to us from Canada. Thank you so much. Thank you, Randa. My question is very simple. Do we have among us let's say Randa, yes. Abdulwahab Hassan. Do we have among us someone who know the other organizations for other communities, like we know ABAC, or some other communities like Irish or whatever, and are we aware of their structure? Can we get all these and see what is good for us due to this study?
Sure.
Yeah, that's
great question. Yes, I would say there are two examples here. One is there was